Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Dear client, yeah, I'm always on the go, but it's important of what I'm sharing. I talked about attending a continuing education conference in Houston the first weekend of October. And it's a collaboration of sharing knowledge between two industries, between the hair industry specific to Afro textured hair, specific to black women, and specific to the epidemic of hair loss, and being educated by board certified dermatologists. And they're taking the time, the two coming together. This was a brainchild between Susan Peterkin of the Natural Hair Industry Conference, which I wasn't even aware that there was such a thing, and also Dr. Shoshana, I hope I pronounce her name correctly, Kindred. And so they came together, recognizing on both ends, in the natural hair arena and the dermatology arena, of the significance of what's happening to black women, Afro-central textured women, even mixed, okay, of hair loss. Like, if we don't pay attention, it's right now at 50%. And I've been having the opportunity to work on the crowns of beautiful melanin women for 10 years. And when I first started, within the first month, I had half of the women had hair loss. There's a lot of things that have advanced and progressed. Doing black hair is a blessing. Technique, skills, processes, products, things that we have learned collectively over time. Many of us teaching ourselves, many of us going into the education arena. When I started with crochet and micro lock, or crochet braid elegance in 2014, there were no schools. The licensing came and encroached upon North Carolina, and when it comes to natural hair licensing, not all states require it. But I feel blessed to have decided to get my license, and I was mentored in preparation for getting my license with a master stylist, master loctician, master cosmetologist, been in the industry for years. So I was aligned with her, being a client who started to do crochet because my daughter asked me to. Used to do crochet back in the 90s. If you were a perm girl, you wouldn't have known about it. There was only one kind of hair. It was like a crinkly braided strand. It cost $1 a pack. There was no science to the parting and all of that. You just installed it. Mothers and daughters alike wore that crochet. And then I got back into it when my daughter asked me around 2014. And then I recognized that the beauty supply stores were changing their signage and changing the packets. And so, it was a sign for me to move into that arena, coming out of another career. I was in massage and healing work for many, many years and enjoyed building that business. And before that, 24 years in corporate America and using all of the skills, even being a black mother, a black woman, a woman who desires to have her crown cared for. So taking all of that intentionally into this career, now 10 plus years, leading up to, I always would seek out continuing education along my natural hair, being licensed as a natural hair stylist. But this training that I received, wow. So here's the deal. Since coming back, I've been able to educate. I've touched at least 30 clients. I'm not one that does multiple services in a day. I literally work on no more than 2 to 3 queens who are receiving full services, anywhere from a takeout to the treatment, for the nurturing of the scalp and the hair, and tension-free installation. And now I'm moving in to make sure that I'm using toxic-free products, including hair, or making adjustments with hair. Like, for example, I've encouraged many of my crochet clients to wash their hair with the ACV process, the apple cider vinegar process. You can easily look it up on YouTube. But to pre-treat or prepare that hair before we actually go into installation, and then I'm adjusting the way that I install the hair for the sensitivity of the scalp. I have clients that range from no issues at all to thinning and breaking to seeing restoration, depending on the circumstance, to more delicate situations where people have inflammation. They may have hereditary hair loss. They may be recovering or going through cancer treatments. All different scenarios. Each person is different. And so therefore, when we look at YouTube and Instagram and we see styles and we see products, we're at a point now, look, when we know better, we should do better, right? And so I am gratitude to have been aligned and been in the right place at the right time to hear about this level of continuing education through the Strand Network. STRAND stands for Stylist Training, Research, and Networking with Dermatologists. So I focused on educating myself and educating my clients as we go along. Reason B, because they expect me to. Yeah, I wouldn't be in business 10 years if they didn't say, hey, Miss Wanda, I see this style, or I see this process, or I see this, I want to try it. I would research, see if it was viable, but now taking it like 10 levels up, all right? So I've had the opportunity from the conference, so this is November 1st. The conference was so inspiring and impactful that I'm still talking about it. And the reason being, so what I took from the conference, bringing into my practice as Charlotte's first Strand certified stylist, bringing that to my clients, making sure we got foundational things set up. For example, for each client that comes in, we're reviewing the products they've been using at home. We're reviewing the style that I have been supporting them with. We're reviewing the actual hair. I'm right now testing out a particular human hair from a particular supplier. I'll put a link in the comments to a review that I've done with a client. We're waiting for her to come back in so we can continue with the process based on the promises of the supplier, right? So, yeah. In other words, the supplier says you can do this, that, and the other. It should last this long. You should be able to reuse it. So that's the report card. I'm checking that, right? If it passes the acceptability between me and my client, then we'll continue with promoting or talking about and sharing that with my client base and beyond. So it feels good to be in the right space. How did I hear about the Strand Network? Look, I'm going to tell y'all, I live by divine signs. I pay attention. I listen intuitively. This is my way. This is what brought me into this career and to have lasted so long. This is what has got me through 24 years of corporate, working many, many years in the holistic arena as an intuitive, integrative massage therapist. I do take practices from that work. No longer I'm retired from the physical aspect of laying on of hands, but an expansion of being in that arena, I still bring it to my fullness of my life. And you can learn more about me by clicking on the link below my Beacons link page, and you'll be able to see the multiple passions and creative expressions that I've been encoded with. And doing your hair or providing crown care services for beautiful queens is just one avenue. And I'm gratitude for that. So because of that, that's why I only choose to work on to take no more than 2 or 3 clients in a day, and I only choose to work only 4 days a week, and that is sustainable. And I work on other days, like today I'm going in on this Sunday because I've traveled, so I make accommodation to support my clients if I've had to move them around for travel, right? So coming back, I plan to share more educational videos as I take this journey on revamping and rebranding my hair salon services. So the main thing is toxic-free products. Toxic-free products, y'all. Look, I think I'm going to insert right here just an excerpt, a minute of information from one of the presenters, Dr. Kindred. And she's sharing with us about an ingredient that is in lots of hair and skin products. And it's going to blow your mind. When you look at it, you're going to want to go into your cabinet and look and see if this ingredient is there.
Message, everything natural isn't safe. Marianne Senna, who's an amazing dermatologist in Boston, she and the lab at Harvard were able to figure out that linalool was one of them. So this is found in like basil, coriander, orange peel oil, lavender, etc. And it literally is causing hair loss. And they're able to show the pathway from the linalool gets absorbed, it goes to the cell, it activates a receptor, triggers the cell to release inflammatory chemicals that turn around and like cause the positive feedback loop. But basically, it snowballs is the term. And so if you're putting this on your face and you lose hair, or you're going to wash further and further up. And so this form of hair loss, you have a headband of hair loss that moves backward. Message, everything natural isn't safe.
Okay. Everything that says it's natural is not natural. Here's the deal. You'll say, okay, well, I've Googled that. I don't see anything negative, but here's the deal. You know, the reason for the conference, that I felt the urgency, I felt the intention of the knowledge that was shared. We sat before and listened to board certified dermatologists and the scenarios and experiences that they see coming through their offices. There are additional alopecia types now that have come up over the years because of ingredients, practices, and techniques, right? And then we had the opportunity to listen to those in that profession doing trials and research. We got to see on screen the results of not having knowledge between, in the hair industry. We saw demonstrations of treatments. We got to be able to collaborate in concert, in conversation. It was 2 days of intense lectures on Friday the 5th of October, 12 to 8. And then it was a breakout session with stylists. I got to network and meet other stylists. You had, in the audience, you had natural hairstylists, cosmetologists, trichologists, barbers. It was open to all, even educators in the hair schools. It was even open to those who are not licensed. And here's the deal. In all states, natural hair licensing isn't required. I would tell anyone, and if I was in a state that didn't require licensing. So there's some feeling behind that. It's like, when it came on the scene as far as requiring licensing, our industry, our culture, and braiding and natural styling is something that you learn between your mother's legs, and you did your sisters, and when you were in college you did the girlfriends. You just looked on YouTube when YouTube came out, and you looked at examples, and you slayed, and you looked good, and you slayed, and you slayed, and you slayed, and you slayed, and the clients are getting slayed. Ooh. So when you, just like in any career, anything that you do, when you know better, or when you learn, when you know better, like you do better, or is it when you know better, you should do better, right? So it's exciting, this information and being on this wave, because I heard it on the news. I was in the DMV area visiting family, and I was getting up doing my makeup or my lipstick, and I heard on the news about this collaboration between natural hair stylist and a dermatologist working in the same. And how I got into having clients with hair loss is because that's what showed up 10 years ago in 2014 after I got my license. And I started marketing on the out, and people would come up, and I had no clue. And within the 30 days, half of the women that came had hair loss. And here's the deal, the sensitivity for y'all that don't ever experience hair loss, or even have seen it. Or maybe you weren't aware that you were actually seeing it, but didn't know. Like your mama or your grandma always wore a wig or something like that, right? Some of y'all that are watching this now, that experienced hair loss. You had a head full of hair when you were younger. Even your baby girl, your daughters and your granddaughters have thick hair now, but you didn't realize that your grandmother had hereditary hair loss. And we hear so much, and now on social media we tend to go after what we hear: rice water, rosemary, all of these things, but we have more information now. And I'm passionate about this because I have women that sit in my chair that no one else sees them in their pure beauty, with their crown, whether it has hair or loss, or the journey through it. And look, their lifestyles, stress, medications, health. Sometimes it seems like it's maybe a losing battle, but it doesn't have to be in that vein. So you trust who you see. You going to somebody right now. Okay. Are they educated? Are they self-taught? And do they seek continuing education? Are they open enough, even if they've been in the business for 25, 30 years, even if they got their own products and they're proof, but you don't want to hear, or let me say this, are you open to hearing what's happening? Have you networked with a dermatologist? Are you familiar with the field of hair loss from medical professionals? We know more now. And there's a committed level of professionals on both ends that care about black women, Afro-textured, queens specifically. I'm gonna put another link below. Listen to this. Check out safecosmetics.org. Safecosmetics.org. Scroll it, check it out, get informed. Also, there's a link on that site, and hopefully I can separate that and add that here. That is an initiative in an idea of protecting and informing black women about toxic products or ingredients, or products that have toxic ingredients, right? So they're providing you with that knowledge. But on the other tip, there's a list in there, specific black-owned companies with products that are safe, that have been vetted and tested by the safecosmetic.org. And safecosmetic.org organization, when I looked at the history, it's been around 20 years. Oh my God. Some of the things I'm learning is like in the state of California, they are putting a mandate out on products and food, and you know how cigarettes and certain other products have a warning statement, a disclosure about the possibility of whatever's in it. Please know that your health might be impacted if you use it. So I understand that there's a real initiative in California for doing things like that is not done across the state. But I'm just across the United States, but I'm just learning this, so it's okay. But what I said, I'll go back through here and make sure I put the links, because basically when we know better, we have an opportunity to do better. So I am responding on behalf of the integrity, of the commitment, and of the love that I have for my client. So dear client, thank you for watching. Appreciate y'all. Let me get up in here and take care of the system on a Sunday, because I can, because I choose to, and they trust me. Peace and blessings.